Hey everyone, so we're gonna be going live for the book reveal. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm gonna show you my new book. I'm so excited and thank you so much for being here to do the book reveal with me. Let me get up on Instagram too. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's wait for a couple more people and then we're gonna get into it. This is my book reveal party. I'm so excited. Let me pin it here. Okay. Oh my god, I got my package. My book is in here. I'm so excited to share this book with you. The five, let's open it together. Okay. The five self-love languages. It is like hard work writing of at least 6 to 7 years, but the solution I've been working on with my patients and my clients for years. So this book has the solution to depression, anxiety, codependency, all without all without medication, right? So holistically, just using your own soul, how can you here's my book. Mm, um, the five self-love languages. Oh, I should have done the mirror thing for you guys, but here it is. She's so beautiful. Look, guys, she's so beautiful. Yeah, so here's about me, about the program that's in the book. This is me, and then this is how you can utilize the book and what it can help you with. It's this book is basically the result of the struggle that my mom went through, a lot of other codependent ladies go through, and how do we heal from codependency, shame, childhood trauma, and how do we empower ourselves by speaking the five self-love languages. Look how beautiful it is. And so this has all the steps you're going to need in order to speak to yourself with love every single day. Look how beautiful. Yeah, and I chose these colors because these are the colors of feminine power, the red and the black. And look how beautiful self-love is. All right, so basically, let me tell you what's in the book, right? So in this book, you will get why do we need the five self-love languages? Then what are the five self-love languages? And then how do I speak to myself with self-love? And this has like all the steps on how to speak the language, steps on how to let go, how to radically accept, how to detach. Mm. And then it has steps on how to self forgive, how to forgive. Look how beautiful. How to forgive. And then how to self parent, right? So many of us struggle with how to parent ourselves. So this has how to parent your inner child, how to parent your inner critic, how to parent your wise, loving inner parent so that they're in charge all the time, right? How to handle grief, right? How to self parent your grief, how to self parent your nervous system, and then how to self parent your trauma responses, then how to self empower, how to speak the language of self empowerment, right? So I'm going to be reading to you from this book and I'm going to be teaching from this book this year. So feel free to drop comments on what you want me to teach you. So we have a lot of really good choices from what we have in the book. You can learn how to manage your grief, how to overcome codependency, how to overcome childhood trauma. And then you can learn how to speak your truth, how to speak with power. So you guys get to pick which topic I should cover on the daily. I'm going to read to you from this book, and I'm so excited to read from this beautiful book because this is really the solution of. I saw my mother suffer and her friends suffer and my patients suffer because of codependency, because of lack of self love, because they didn't know how to communicate love, self love to themselves. They knew how to communicate love to other people, but they didn't know how to communicate self love to themselves. So this book teaches you how to love yourself, how to communicate that self love with compassion. So one of the languages is self compassion, and the book teaches you how to be compassionate. Let me read a little something to you guys. All right, so what should I read? Should we just go any page, this page? Okay, so let me read. Behavioral pattern of using charm and charisma to convince others of their capacity to be caring and compassionate. So a lot of trauma survivors try to force or push other people to love them, because even though the other person doesn't have the capacity to love you, so they will use their, some individuals will use their charm and charisma to convince others of their capacity to be caring and compassionate, right? This behavior arises from a desire to be seen in a positive light or to gain influence in relationships. So what this paragraph is saying is that a lot of people will fake niceness, will fake charm, will fake confidence in order to impress other people. While charm and fake confidence can be effective way of connecting with others initially, but relying on it masks deeper issues and insecurities, and it leads to superficial relationships that lack authenticity. For example, you might present yourself as always kind, understanding, supportive, even when you're feeling disconnected, even when you're feeling resentful. This can create a facade that others may eventually see through, leading to mistrust or disappointment. To overcome this, it's important to align your outward behavior with your true feelings and intentions. Focus on cultivating genuine compassion and care, not just appearances of it. Practice being authentic in your interaction, even if it means showing vulnerability and admitting, showing vulnerability and admitting to yourself that you're struggling in establishing relationships. By building relationships based on honesty and integrity, you will create deeper, more meaningful connections that go beyond surface level and are so satisfying, right? So, this has lists of all these behavioral patterns that are seen in trauma survivors and codependents. And then it talks about how to overcome them, right? So, self parent your inner critic. You guys, I'm so excited that this book is out there in the world to help and educate and bring peace and sanity into this world to people who are still suffering. And I'm so grateful that my goal of bringing the message, my dream, and my hard work of bringing the message to those who still suffer, I did it, mommy. Yeah, so this is dedicated definitely to my mother, who was the biggest martyr, biggest, the best mom, most dedicated lady, but who did not know how to love herself. And that was the reason of her passing. She did not know how to take care of herself. So the book is dedicated to my mother and to all childhood trauma survivors. May we love and cherish ourselves deeply. So I'm excited to read to you guys from this and teach you how to speak the language of self love to yourself. Yeah, so I'm still recovering, as you can tell, and I'll be, making content, making videos for you guys to teach you the five self love languages. I'm so grateful to God that this book is here to help those who are still suffering. Because if my mom had this book and her friends had this book, and if my patients had this book, my clients had this book, they would have overcome so much of their suffering, which is created due to lack of communication with self, lack of communication of love to yourself. And now it's out in the world and it's going to help so many people. Mm. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I feel so blessed and so grateful and so relieved that the solution is out there, because the solution to your pain, depression, anxiety, emotional pain, suffering is not out there. It's inside, but you just don't know how to get it from inside. And this book will show you how. So, let's talk about what you want me to teach next time. So, I think we should start with self attunement is the first self love language. And self attunement really means understanding your inner family, your inner landscape, your present moment, right? So, how do you attune to your life? Self attunement is the first self love language. Then, self compassion is the second love language. So, I'll teach you how to be self compassionate. I will teach self forgiveness is the third love language. So, maybe we'll start with we'll go in order. So I'll teach you first, why do we need the five self love languages? And then we'll go into self attunement. And I'll do little bits and pieces of that. And then I will teach you self compassion. How do we, hi Sarah, how do we this is my new book, The Five Self Love Languages, and it teaches you how to speak the language of self-love to yourself to overcome childhood trauma, depression, anxiety, codependency. Thank you for your hearts. Yeah, so this is like my life, I would say, like my lifelong work of my life, and watching my mom suffer and our friends suffer and all codependent patients and myself suffer. We suffered because we could love others but nobody loved us, and we didn't know how to love ourselves. So this book teaches you how to speak the language of self-love to yourself. The world taught us, the love languages, the five love languages, but now we get to speak love to ourselves. So I'll teach you how to attune to yourself, all parts of yourself. Self attunement is the first self love language. Then, once you're attuned to your insides, your ancestors, right? So, what do we need to attune ourselves to? We need to attune ourselves to our intuition. So I will teach you self attunement to your intuition, self attunement to your subconscious beliefs, thoughts, behavioral patterns. Then self attunement to your emotional self attunement to your physical body, right? We don't even realize that we have all these layers to ourselves, and we need to get to know ourselves. Attunement, self attunement with our ancestors, self attunement to our inner critic is a self love language. Self attunement to the wounded inner child is a self love language. Self attunement to your addictions, right? Self attunement to your addicted self is a self love language. So once we get to know ourselves by practicing speaking self attunement, then we go into self compassion. And when we speak the language, the second self love language, which is self compassion, I will teach you how to. What are the steps? What do I say? What do I do? How do I think when I practice the language of self compassion on difficult days? Hi, Ashley. So, this is my new book, The Five Self Love Languages, and it teaches you how to speak the language of radical acceptance to yourself, right? I know you can radically accept other people and their shortcomings, but have you spoken the language of radical self acceptance? Do you know what that looks like? Right? Detachment and letting go is a self love language. So, in this book, I will teach you how to, and I'll be making videos and making all the content will go on the socials. I will teach you how to practice self forgiveness, which is the third self love language. So, this book gives you the steps of self forgiveness, steps of detachment, letting go, steps to self compassion. Then we get to the fourth love language, which is self parenting. In this book, I will teach you how to parent your inner child, inner teen, inner critic, how to self parent your anger Maybe we should start with that. How to self parent your shadows. So the book gives you the steps on how to self parent, and you can pick it up anywhere. It's not like a story that goes on. It's mainly like a how to book. The steps to self parent your nervous system, self parent your grief. Self parenting your triggers is a self love language. So this book gives you the steps. This is a how to guide on how to self parent your triggers, how to self parent your trauma responses, how to prepare and handle your trauma responses. That's a self love language. And then finally, self empowerment is the fifth self love language, and which means self leadership. Self leadership rooted in core values is a self love language, right? What are your core values? So, this book teaches you how to pick and choose your core values, how to um, establish what are the steps to establish self leaderships that's rooted in your core values. Then self care is a self love language, right? What people do is they think that self care and self love is synonymous. We use it so many times interchangeably, but it's not at all. Self care is a small component of, not a small component, I should say. Self care is a component of self love. And then the book teaches you from codependency to interdependency, how to be in love with yourself in relationships, right? What happens in relationships is that we give ourselves up and we forget how to love ourselves when we're in relationships. But when you speak the language of self love, not only do you love another in the relationship, you love yourself in relationships, right? And then gratitude is the final chapter, which is gratitude is the love language of the universe. So it teaches you how to live in gratitude. And then there's a bonus at the end. So maybe I'll read to you a little bit of the bonus, which is really interesting. Power of self love, belief, thoughts, feelings, actions in alignment. Your sense of self, your self belief, and the way you perceive your entire life are deeply influenced by internal dialogue you maintain. When you consistently speak the five self love languages, you begin to nurture thoughts that are rooted in empowerment and unconditional self love. This creates an internal environment of trust and self acceptance. What happens is that we don't work hard enough to create an internal landscape of acceptance and love. We create an internal landscape of criticism, anger, hostility towards your own self, right? As you practice this form of self talk, you no longer, as you start speaking the languages, the five self love languages, you no longer find yourself doubting your choices or seeking constant validation from external sources. Instead, you develop a strong and authentic identity, which is grounded in self trust. With every choice you make that honors your core values, you reinforce this trust. Over time, this builds a powerful sense of inner stability, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because you are continuously making decisions that align with your highest good. When we don't love ourselves, we make choices and decisions that are not aligned with our highest good. We make other things, other people, our priority. But when we are in self love, we no longer by no longer abandoning yourself to please others or conform to societal pressures, you begin to live from a place of integrity. High self esteem and self confidence naturally arise when your actions are guided by your personal truth and values. You become anchored in your own sense of worth and capabilities, which in turn empowers you to take control of your life and shape it according to your vision. As you've explored these five self love languages, my hope for you is that you have gained the tools and insight needed to create a deeper, more loving relationship with yourself. Self love is not a destination, it is a lifelong journey. Each day offers you the opportunity to show up for yourself in new ways, to practice compassion and forgiveness, to tune into your inner world and make choices that honor your true self, not the autopilot conditioning that somebody puts you on. By integrating these self love languages into your life, you are sending a powerful message to your inner self. I'm worthy of love, care, respect. Over time, these messages transform your internal belief system, shifting your core belief from I am unlovable, unworthy to I am worthy. When this belief shifts and becomes a part of your internal reality, everything in your life begins to change. From how you see yourself to the way you interact with the world around you, it all begins with speaking the five self love languages consistently. This creates a profound shift in our foundational beliefs, reinforcing the divine truth that we are worthy, loved, powerful creators of our life. This is where the magic begins. I am grateful to teach you the five self love languages. May you speak the five self love languages daily. May you love yourself fully, deeply, and unconditionally. Remember, you are the source and the magnet of love and abundance in your life. Oh, I love this book so much. So I'm excited to teach you guys. I'm so excited to teach you the steps that are in this book that will help you achieve freedom from the bondage of trauma and codependency. Codependency is a jail, it's a bondage that you have to work to release, right? So how do you know you're codependent? So here, let me read this. 20 signs you may be codependent. Number one, excessive people pleasing. You constantly seek approval and validation from others, going to great lengths to make them happy, even at your own expense. Number two, low self esteem. You have persistent negative thoughts and feelings about yourself. Negative self image, feeling unworthy or inadequate, relying on others to validate your self worth. That is low self esteem. That is a sign of codependency. Difficulty setting boundaries. You struggle to establish and maintain healthy boundaries, often allowing others to overstep or violate your limits and disrespect you, right? So if you're constantly being disrespected and overstepped and treated like a doormat, you might be codependent. And all you have to do is do the identity work, do the work that's in the book, speak to yourself with love and care, and you will start to see a big difference in how others treat you, because you will start to treat yourself with so much more love and respect. Third sign that you might be codependent, or fourth sign that you might be codependent, is lack of personal identity. You define yourself through your relationships with others, losing touch with your own values, interests, and goals. Number six is enmeshment. You tend to merge your identity with others, feeling responsible for their emotions and well being to an unhealthy extent. You are merged with others, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Enmeshment is a big sign of codependency. Caretaking. You have strong compulsion to take care of others, often neglecting your own needs and sacrificing your own well being in the process. So, if you sacrifice your own needs and your well being for other people, you may be codependent. Then, caretaking. right? So you have strong compulsion to take care of others, neglecting your own needs. Okay. Difficulty saying no. You find it challenging to say no, fearing that it will lead to rejection or conflict. Then feelings of toxic guilt and shame. That's a big sign of codependency. You experience excessive guilt or shame when asserting your needs or prioritizing self care. Or number 10, so this has like a lot of information. It's a very uh heavily loaded book with the problem and how to solve it. The problem is childhood trauma and codependency, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, guilt, shame, right? Not making progress or growth in life. That's the problem. And the solution is love. The solution is you loving yourself. It's not your parents loving you. It's not your partner loving you. It's not anything outside. It's you learning to speak the language of love to yourself. That's the answer. And how do we, everybody says love yourself, but then how do I do that? How do I speak? What is the language of love that I'm supposed to speak? That is what I define very, very clearly in my book, and I will be teaching you. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and my baby. I'm so grateful this book is out in the world, and I'm so grateful that it will find the hands that it needs to be in. It will heal the people who have prayed for this baby. It will help the ones who are still suffering. All the women, let's pray, guys. Let's pray for all the women who love others so much, but they are yet to feel love for themselves, that they're yet to speak love and life into themselves. This book is for women who have helped others so much, who love others, rescue others, but they're not able to love themselves. This book is for those who are not able to speak, who did not learn to love themselves. This book will help you love yourself. Mwah. Alrighty, I will be back teaching you more stuff from my book. Thank you for being a part of the book reveal. Yeah, and then if you have any requests on what I should start teaching you, let me know. We could go just because it's all the chapters are self-standing, right? For example, this one says how letting go helps us heal, and then it says steps for letting go. I really want to start with detachment and letting go because that is really the biggest lesson for myself in my life. So I might start with detachment and letting go. But we heal. Alrighty. Bye. See you soon. I'm going to teach you. See you soon. Keep in touch. Love you. Bye. Thank you to all those who joined. Pamela, DK, Sarah, Ashley, MQ, Lincoln, Sarah. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Oh.